What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be playing the role as a GM for the Washington Commanders. This is going to be a really fun series for me as they did a lot this offseason going into the 2024-2025 NFL football season for them. Let's talk about it real quick. Real quick. They added Dan Quinn as a head coach, Cliff Kingsbury as an offensive coordinator. Came from USC. He has a little bit of background with Patrick Mahomes. He was head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. He coached Kyler Murray for about 2, 3 years. So, and he also obviously has background with Caleb Williams, another mobile quarterback. All three of those guys are mobile quarterbacks, which is going to be key for later on for what I'm about to say for the draft. They added a center, which they desperately needed, in Tyler Bayades to 3 years. They needed a center bad. Dan Quinn added players he knew already, or players he knew already, players that have already played for him. They added. I don't think Frankie Louvu played for them, but he's a good inside linebacker that knows how to blitz. They added Bobby Wagner, who's mainly a 3-4 guy, which is interesting because the Redskins have Deron Payne and Allen. They're a 4-3 team, so it's gonna be interesting how they utilize that or how Dan Quinn establishes that. They added Dante Fowler, who's older, and they also added Dorrance Armstrong. I believe he played for Dan Quinn last year with the Cowboys. So they brought two edge rushers in because they lost two edge rushers last year. So that's the reason they added these two guys. So I don't think they're gonna address the edge rushing position this year's draft. That's just my opinion. Um, this is also pretty big and pretty important to my reasoning of how I'm gonna plan the draft for the Washington Redskins this year, and a lot of it is gonna be because they have pretty much two solid running backs. They have Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson. I think this team's gonna be a run heavy team at first until 2, 3 years from now once they establish their receivers. Let me get a sip of water real quick. Um, they lost Curtis Samuel, but I think a big majority of chunk of the reasoning is because they like Jahan Dotson, 24 years old. He averaged about 10 yards per catch last year, so I believe they like what they saw from him. They added also Olamide Zaccheaus, and they have Jamison Crowder. Now, I think this is really big for a rookie quarterback. They added a good receiving tight end as they did lose Logan Thomas. Zach Ertz provides a good security blanket for them. I hope he can stay healthy. I know he's going downhill, but he can still catch the ball. And that's a really good security blanket for, in my opinion, they're going to draft Jaden Daniels. Because, as I said previously, Cliff does like mobile quarterbacks. I mean, Texas Tech, Mahomes. And then he went to Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. And then at USC, he wasn't really a coordinator or nothing. I believe he was like an offensive advisor or something like that. Um, he had Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is not fast like both those other guys, but he's a mobile quarterback. Um, so with that being said, they also added. I'm gonna add a little bit more to the free agency. They added Jeremy Chin as they lost their best safety Curl. They also lost their best cornerback in Fuller, I believe his name was or is. So that's gonna be a huge reasoning on how I draft, on why I draft what I draft for this team. I'm only gonna do about the first, second round. They have 9 picks in general. I don't want to go through all nine rounds that I think they should do or what they should trade. So let's get to it. On my screen, I have a mock draft board because I'm not an expert, so I don't know all these guys. I just kind of know what they kind of need, what this team needs, and how I would address it going forward. So round one, second overall pick, I would go Jaden Daniels. I think it's a no brainer there. It's a run first team, so that's gonna help him out also. RPOs, bootlegs, just you can do different stuff with Jaden Daniels. QB draws also. You can really have fun with this offense. So that's obviously the no brainer. I'm gonna give you about plan A, plan B, and plan C. I could maybe do a plan D as well, but I'm gonna mainly try to go for plan C. Just three plans. My plan A is obviously draft Jaden Daniels, and then I would draft Tyler Nubin in the second round, who's the best safety on the board. And then I would since you have 9 draft picks, I would trade up for a cornerback, whether that be Kool Aid, whether that be where's this dude's name at? Nate Wiggins from Clemson Tigers. I don't know how far I would trade up. You could trade up for Kenyon Mitchell from Toledo as well. Um, and by the way, the mock draft I'm looking at, I don't know how updated it is. I can kind of see where these other guys are projected to go. Um, well, those are just a few cornerbacks that I would try to trade up for. As I said, they lost their base safety, so that's why I'm adding Tyler Nubin from I believe he's from Minnesota, and I would trade up for a cornerback as you did let go of Fuller, so that addresses that secondary pretty good. And I believe Jeremy Chin is only signed for like a 1 year deal, so that's how I would address Plan A. And Dan Quinn is a defensive coordinator. Anywhere he goes, that defense right gets risen up to what am I trying to say? Whatever defense Dan Quinn is in, they always get better. So that's what I would do if I was the Commanders. That'd be my plan A. That secondary is atrocious right now. That's how I would address it. So I think that's their biggest needs right now. Um, and then plan B, I still think Tyler Nubin is the guy to draft for them. Um, you really don't need edge rushers as you already brought two of them in, and there's always edge rushers every year. So I think you're kind of okay for just this year not drafting an edge rusher. But I would still draft Tyler Nubin. But since your offensive line is bad, I would also try to address that and just try to trade. I mean, not trade. Try to draft Christian Haynes. He's a guard from Connecticut. I believe there's a tackle here, not too much lower from him. Jordan Morgan's there from Arizona as well. This is already a little too deep. This is 52nd overall. Kingsley Saumataya from BYU. Um, that's what I would do for Plan B. So Plan B is Tyler Nubin and the lineman. That's no trading. That's their second rounders. They have two of them, which they are the 36th overall pick and the 40th overall pick. So that's what I would do if I was the Commanders. If I'm not really trying to be aggressive and trade up for anybody. As far as I'm seeing for offensive tackle, you could try to move up to get Tyler Guyton as well. Um, um, Zach Frazier as well. He's an interior offensive lineman. Another offensive tackle, J.C. Latham from Alabama. So you could also trade up for an offensive lineman, which wouldn't be a bad idea to protect Jaden Daniels, give him some more time in the pocket, and then if he has to run with his legs, he can. But obviously, you want to be able to throw from the pocket and stand there tall and not be pressured or get sacked. So that's what I would do. Plan B, Tyler Nubin and the draft offensive lineman. Plan C is interesting. Um, Again, I think Tyler Nubin is the guy for them. So I have Jaden Daniels and Tyler Nubin going to Washington for sure. The only thing that changes for me is you try to trade up for a receiver. Lad McConkey from Georgia. I liked the way he played last year. I don't watch a lot of college football, but I did watch about 3 games for Georgia. I really like him as a receiver. Um, this year's draft, as I said for the Bears, my previous video, this draft class is full. You could go Xavier Legette from South Carolina. Um, Brian Thomas is there as well. Adam Mitchell, Troy Franklin, you can try to go draft up. Like these receivers are stacked this year in this year's draft, which is good for the Commanders to add weapons for Jaden Daniels, especially in a pass-heavy offense. That might be able to open up some passing lanes for these receivers and Jaden Daniels. So you try to trade up for Lan McConkey, um, Troy Franklin from Florida, I believe he's from, if I can find his name. Adam Mitchell from Texas. So you have a lot of different options there, receivers that you can possibly do. You don't even have to trade up really for some of these guys. Now, what's interesting is um, I don't see the Xavier Worthy. You could also draft him. He's projected 55 on this mock draft. I don't know how accurate all these are. I'm just kind of going off of whatever I found. Because I wanted most mock drafts only show like the first round. If you guys know any good ones that show like all of them, please comment down below and drop the link. But Xavier Worthy here is projected 55th overall, and you have 3 third round picks, so you can maybe for plan D, Tyler Nubin, a lineman, and if Xavier Worthy is there at 55, you have 3 third round draft picks. Trade all of them to Miami and draft Xavier Worthy. I mean that'd be plan D, which wouldn't be bad also. A speed demon and a heavy run set offense, which I'm predicting they're going to be for the first year. Next year and the years going forward, it's going to be a pass heavy offense. But for now, 2 good running backs. You got a lineman. They're going to be a run heavy team in my opinion. By run heavy, it could be 50-50 because I know it's a passing era now. But I think it's going to be run first team. So that's plan D. I didn't have plan D written down my nose, but looking at the mock draft right now, according to this website, Xavier Worthy, 55th overall pick. So you trade all your 3rd round picks, or you trade 2 of them, and you trade next year's 4th, or however the points work. Xavier Worthy, if he's there at 55-ish or whatever, you trade up for him. Other than that, whatever they do going forward, because you have 9 draft picks, I don't want to discuss all of them. That'd be insane just to do. Um, yeah, I think that's about it for the Washington Commanders. As far as the fan base goes, it's just like the Bears. Really fun time to be a Commanders fan. I mean, you have a defensive coordinated coach. You have Cliff Kingsbury. You address the some you address some positions you needed, but whenever you add a rookie quarterback, you always hope you drafted the guy, because obviously these guys, unfortunately, they're gonna be bust. Some of them, or majority of them. So you always want to make sure that you draft the guy. So it's always exciting. It's always exciting. So, which I think Jaden Daniels can be the guy going forward. So it's just really fun time to be a Commander fan, in my opinion. The secondary, hopefully it gets addressed. That's why it was my plan. I believe it was my plan A to address the secondary, and then next year you can go after like Travis Hunter, as I believe you guys are going to be still at like a top 5 team, top 10 pick team, and Travis Hunter should be there. I don't know if he's going to be a cornerback or receiver in the NFL. But if he's a receiver, you obviously add him to the room to go with Jaden Daniels, who would be a 1 year pro already. So whatever goes forward, I don't want to get too detailed into that. But yet Austin Eckler, good receiving back. He can obviously run. Brian Robinson can run the ball also. Uh, Jaden Daniels to throw to Zach Ertz for a good security blanket. Scary Terry. If Jahan Dotson can improve from last year, well then hey, that's a steal if you don't draft a wide receiver in this year's draft. 24 years old also. Jamison Crowder, he's like but yeah, that's gonna conclude this video. If you guys enjoyed it, like and subscribe. You guys are gonna disagree with some of the points I brought up, and you guys may agree with it. That's fine also. I would like to hear what you guys would do if you guys were the GM for the Washington Commanders, though. That's it. Thanks for watching. Peace.